My name is Deborah Hooper. I'm an ESL teacher in Fitchburg at South Street Elementary School. So my students come from all over the world. They speak Swahili, Persian, Spanish, and Hmong. They are third graders and they're level 3 and level 4 students. I've been involved with the MCU process for 2 years now, and I really believe in their positive impact on the students' learning. You are looking for some facts that we can add to the Boston Massacre. So I decided to try to do a historical perspectives unit.
King George III of England was not amused. They had to give the soldiers food and place to sleep.
Do you remember what flotilla meant? What does flotilla mean, Emily? A lot of ships, right? So he sent a lot of warships to Boston because he wasn't very happy with the colonists, was he? All right, keep reading and find out what happens next, okay? I am constantly getting their teachers' lesson plans, and they know what I'm doing in the classroom as well. So if they need me to front load something for them, I'm more than willing to do it as long as my language objectives are still being met. Do you think the Boston Massacre could have been handled differently?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Maybe the redcoats shouldn't have like strike at the school boys. They shouldn't have just told their parents.
Ah, okay. So you have a different perspective on what should have happened, don't you? All right. So for the language objectives, I needed to push my students, especially at this time of year where they're heading into 4th grade.
Colonists were being taxed heavily by the British government without their
Consent. That means they didn't have permission to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Cries of British.
Taxation without representation.
Taxation without representation were heard through the colonies.
All right. How would you feel if a soldier came and knocked on your door and said, I think I want to sleep in your bed tonight?
Like disrespect.
You'd feel disrespected about you? All right. And what they said, hey, what's in your fridge? Can we have some Jell-O? How would you feel about that?
Still disrespected.
Yeah. So, what do you think the colonists were feeling?
And mad.
Yeah. So let's keep reading and see what happens, okay? When we were doing the text, I tried to leave them with a question to think about as I walked away. What about, how did trees look in the summer and winter? And tried to get them thinking. So for today's lesson, we were talking about comparing and contrasting different perspectives based upon 2 images. And the students really did a nice job with it. What else are we noticing? Kimberly! Hold on, Emily.
In Paul Revere's, nobody's striking at each other, and in J.H. Bufford's, they're all coming, they're striking.
Mm-hmm. I'm Riley.
I predict that the colonists in Paul Revere's had weapons, but it didn't show that because maybe it fell out of their hands while they were fighting. People died anyway, because this is 200 years.
Turn and Talk is something that we've been doing in our school for quite a while now. We're getting the students talking and sharing their ideas and opinions, but they're also building upon their English language. Students need to be able to talk, and when they're talking, they're asking questions of each other. I find that students are more than willing to help each other out. So at this point in time, I want them to be independent, but I also want them to be able to know that they can go to each other and ask questions, and they can always ask me if they need to. Victoria, what was your topic sentence?
Let me tell you how summer and winter are the same and different.
All right. So I make sure I do a lot of group work with them. I also like to do small group work where I'm sitting there with a small group, but also whole class discussion where I'm leading the discussion, but they are constantly back and forth with me and with their peers. Today we did a lot of turn and talking and a lot of group work. So when they went to go do their Venn diagrams and comparing and contrasting them, they were able to talk to each other about it and really work together to make sure that the Venn diagrams came out correctly. Then we moved on to what we call the burrito. What is a burrito for? Riley?
We're using a burrito because a hamburger has more things in a burrito, and the top of the burrito is our introduction, and the bottom is our conclusion, how we wrap it up, and the third one is how we compare it, and those 2 are details.
All right. How are they the same?
Double seasons.
That would work. I look at their work on a daily basis. We check their journals, and at the end, I always try to have them regroup with me, and we debrief of what we did that day. Part of our lesson today was after the students read, they would get a sticky note. And the sticky note was really a check from me to see if they were comprehending what they were reading. So we had a KWL chart, which stands for what they know, what they want to know, and what they learned. And we had the K and the W filled out, but the students hadn't filled in the L yet. So I put the students in groups, and they read the text together and discussed it. And then they came up with sticky notes. And on the sticky notes, they needed to tell me a fact or two about what they had just read. And then they put it on the KWL chart, and we went over it as a class. All right. I think the biggest thing in our classroom is to create a safe environment. And I think that really allows the students to be able to open themselves up and talk to each other. These units were created by teachers. They're made for teachers. What's the name of the winter storm? Do you remember? Blizzards, right? So maybe we have a lot of different websites in the units. We have books for them to look at, and everything that you need is right there in one place. But don't be afraid to adapt it and revise it and change it for your students. But colonists have weapons.